in my life. As a new Christian, I was very excited about Jesus and attempted to share the gospel unsuccessfully many times. I've gotten a lot more no's than yeses in my life as a Christian, but especially as a new Christian. But that was okay. God was going to use His word anyway, and one particular time that stands out in my mind as a really important moment in my Christianity, the first time I got to have the privilege of praying with someone to receive Jesus, was with my cousin Justin. We were at a family reunion, and I began to share my testimony with Justin and his girlfriend and how excited I was about the forgiveness I had found. And Justin had shared with me some tough stuff he was going through at the time. Well, how do we say yes? How do we accept Jesus? And being a newer Christian, I didn't actually know what to say next. I got stuck and a little nervous that someone actually wanted to receive Jesus when so many people had said no to me up until that point. And so I grabbed a more mature believer who was nearby, my other cousin, Michael, and we were able to share with them over the course of the next few hours what it means to follow Jesus, turn from our sin, and to be His disciples. That night they received Jesus, and we did get to pray with them. However, I was encouraged from that experience, and I learned from that experience that going forward, I did know a little bit more of how to lead someone in prayer to receive Jesus. And so another quick story I'll share years after that. At work, I used to work in a car dealership, and there's a lot of downtime when there's no customers coming in. And so I got to share with my coworkers, and one particular coworker was a staunch, proud atheist. And at that time, I was just getting more involved into apologetics and those types of arguments, and we would have our rounds back and forth. I would present an argument, he would volley one back my way, and this went on day after day for months. And I thought I was making no headway with this individual. And I may not have been making headway with that individual, but God was making headway with another coworker who'd been listening, unbeknownst to me. One day, that coworker, we'll call him Cedric, Cedric says to me, "Hey Brian, can you talk for a second?" And I said, "Sure." I could go over into the corner of the dealership, and he says, "I've been thinking I need to get saved." And what he was meaning at that point was, "I've been listening to everything you've been saying to this other coworker, and I need what you're offering." I was shocked to actually, the person that I wasn't even talking to was the one God was working in. It's not every day someone just comes up to you and says, "Hey, I want to get saved, I want to become a Christian." But that happened that day, and because of those prior experiences like the first one I shared with you, I did have a solution for the next steps. And so we unpacked what it means to turn from sin and to faith in the grace of God through Jesus. And that day I got to pray with Cedric to receive Jesus, got him a Bible, and continued to follow up with him for the rest of my time there at the dealership, which was great. So those are a couple stories of evangelism in my life. Sometimes shaky, sometimes successful, but I think at the end of the day, just making the offer, God will use. And so be encouraged, and know that it's never going to return void.